Hey everyone, and welcome to MessageDesk's webinar series. My name is Taylor, your community manager, and we also have Josh on here, and he's your product manager. Today, we're going to be diving into message scheduling and everything you need to know.
Thanks, Taylor. Message scheduling is one of those sneaky things for businesses because most people don't even realize that it's possible to schedule a text message. Most people on their personal phones, they're just sending real-time text messages and they assume that business text messaging is that same type of workflow. But in reality, there's tools out there like MessageDesk that actually make it really easy to schedule texts to a group without reply all. And that's really one of our specialties. So today we're going to be diving in to different reasons why a business might schedule a text message, the differences between real-time communication and scheduling. The first things that come to mind when it comes to scheduling are all the different use cases and applications that a business could use it as. There's sales and promotional messaging that you might schedule. That's like a campaign almost. There's also like payment reminders. It's very common in the world of collecting rent. Well, every month if you have to collect something on the first, just schedule a text that does that for you. And there's also the internal communications. If you have team meetings or recurring reminders for people in your group, a scheduled text might be a really easy way to stop spending so much of your time doing those manual reminders and just schedule it once and forget it. Taylor, what's one of the more creative ways you've seen someone use message scheduling before?
Yeah, so some of the most effective message scheduling strategies that I've seen relate to monthly reminders like rent payments, recurring invoices, team meetings that happen monthly, all those types of, recurring reminders. And people never realize how much of their time is actually taken up by sending out these messages manually each month. I mean, one property manager I spoke to said they used to spend 3 to 4 days a month sending one-on-one text messages to tenants, reminding them about rent. And with MessageDesk, they reduce that down to 3 to 4 minutes by using our one-click group text without reply all to schedule a text to each tenant a day before rent was due. And they set it up to recur monthly, so they never need to set it up again. And you can do this with most of these recurring, meetings, all these types of things, and think about all the time you can actually save.
That's such an interesting point. I bet most operators out there don't even realize how much of their time they're spending and arguably wasting sending all these manual one-off messages, whether it be email, whether it be on their personal phone, they're actually sending text messages, really any message they're sending. If there was a way for them to schedule that more effectively, they could probably save a week a month, which is, 1/4 of the month coming back to you. But that does bring up an interesting idea is that, does that mean all messages should be scheduled? Or is there ever a reason why you wouldn't schedule a message and you actually send it in real time?
So we get that question a lot, and it really depends on the type of business or organization we're talking about and what their messaging goals are. So I would say for most marketing and sales communications, you could probably be scheduling those in advance. And I say that because your team's messaging should be aligned with some sort of overarching campaign that has a start and an end date. And, you're probably going to be sending emails and, other social promotions with these as well. So scheduling them not to happen exactly at the same time is super useful. If you're running a Labor Day promotion, that's a perfect reason to pre-schedule text messages around that day. And, the messages that really should not be pre-scheduled are those one-to-one responses to contacts. If you're trying to start a back and forth conversation, you'll definitely want to make sure that you're online when those messages go out, because the last thing you want is a pre-scheduled message and then to forget what's going out. So your contact replies, but there's nothing in return.
That's such a good point. You definitely don't want to forget about the messages you've scheduled to go. That's the worst thing that can happen. But you bring up another interesting point about how there is a difference between real-time messages and the scheduled text you might be sending. Is there a certain way that a scheduled message should look so the contact or the recipient understands that this was pre-scheduled?
Definitely. So pre-scheduled text should usually have a clear CTA or call to action that the contact is going to click. So this may be a payment link, your website URL, a Google review link, or some sort of discount code. This way, your contact is being asked to do something instead of replying to the message, and they have clear next steps. Otherwise, you'll want to be on standby for all of those responses, which is a great way to manage everything. You'll just want to be aware of your message's purpose. Like, are you asking yourself, do they have any questions in this message? Are there any unknowns? Think about, what if the message was sent to you? What would you want to do with it? And, you can expect some sort of percentage of your contacts that still will reply to that message, and they'll be expecting an immediate response. MessageDesk users do have a solution to this. We have our autoresponders and out of office automation. We can use those to automate replies, but if you are using a different platform, you may need to manually respond one by one to each reply.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you also brought up some great ideas in there, is that, the way you structure your message is very important, because if you're trying to schedule and automate your messaging, meaning you're not trying to be there in real time to respond to people, you should really think twice about the types of CTAs or call to actions you're putting in the message you're sending, right? Because if you're asking someone to reply and you're not there on standby to respond to them, you're really just setting yourself up for failure, or at least setting up your contact to be disappointed.
Definitely. Besides just saving time, what are some, few more reasons why people would want to schedule? If they're like, I have so many things that I'm doing right now, I can't schedule out a month's worth, but what is some sort of incentive that you think that they should?
Yeah, obviously saving time is a big incentive. So much of scheduling is just getting ahead of schedule. Right? That's a term we use pretty often here. Because if you're always doing real-time messages, meaning you're typing it and sending it right now, that's very time-consuming and also very stressful, right? There's not a lot of planning that's going into that. But when you're scheduling messages, you can be more methodical about the types of messages you're sending, when you're sending them, and kind of your overarching campaign that you're running, right? Most businesses, they're not really running campaigns as effectively as they could be, because they don't have a scheduling tool or mechanism to send messages, at scheduled times, right? A great example is a marketing campaign. Maybe as a business that you're running some sort of promotion at the end of next month. Well, you can get ahead of schedule and schedule out maybe a text message to all of your current customers, 15 days before, that says, hey, just so you know, we're running an end of month special. Get early access to our deals by clicking here, right? That might be a message you send before. The day of the event, you'll send another text that's scheduled out and it says, hey, today's the day, we're running 30% off all of the following, items, right? And then following the week after, you might have a text scheduled that says, hey, last week ran a promotion, we still have some stock left over, we're still keeping the discount running for these following items, So that's a really simple campaign that a lot of businesses, would love to run. They just don't have the tools that enable them to do so, right? And that's really where MessageDesk comes in, is we make it really easy as a small business or medium-sized business operator and owner to set up those quick and easy text message campaigns that actually drive more revenue and more traffic to your business, which is really the goal of every operator, right? They're just trying to grow their business at some capacity. And a scheduling component to your messaging can be a really easy way to accomplish that.
Exactly. And ultimately, the real takeaway here is to reach more people at once, to grow your business, which is always a win-win. So if you guys have any more questions about scheduling your business text messages, please let us know and email us at josh@messagedesk.com or taylor@messagedesk.com. And thank you for joining.
Thanks, guys.